So what is the measure of success for you? I mean, after all, success is quite a subjective term. What one person might view as successful, another one might view as a failure. I'm Michael with WriterSanctuary, and today we're going to talk about improving your life and becoming the success you want to be. Now, before we get started, we're going to hit the like button to help the channel out. For more videos like this, hit subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can always hit me up on social media, on Twitter and Facebook, or use the contact form on WriterSanctuary.com's website. Okay, so like I said, success is a subjective term. I know a lot of bloggers who think that success to them is just being able to post every day. They don't care about traffic or income, but to them, they're happy. Other people will view success as a way of measuring cash income. Personally, I view success as being able to make sure my bills are paid. So how do you become the success that you want to be? Well, first of all, make sure you're able to sustain yourself. When I first started writing text broker, I worked for the school district for a good year and a half before I was able to quit. That's because I needed to make sure that I had enough money coming in to pay my bills, which I really didn't, but it was still income. Now, you don't want to sacrifice a sure thing for the off chance that you might make money on something else. That's a good thing too, because when I first started writing on text broker, I was making like 25 bucks a week. So it wasn't for that $8 an hour from the school district, I'd have been completely screwed. So if you have a job now, don't quit it just yet until you're able to sustain yourself on whatever project you're working on. That's true whether you're a freelancer or if you want to be a violinist, a game developer, graphic designer, because you don't always come out of the gate as a success. In fact, it's quite rare. Step 2 is to make sure you know where you want to go. I had a conversation with my kids over the weekend, and my daughter is upset because she sucks at playing the violin, and my son doesn't have any focus. Like I told my daughter, you've only been playing the violin for 6 months. Don't expect to be able to compete with somebody like Lindsey Sterling. And what I told my son is that you got to figure out what you want to do. Do you want to be a freelance writer? Do you want to be a blogger? Do you want to be a game developer? Do you want to go to the Air Force? You need to have some kind of semblance of where you want to go before you can actually take the steps to do it. January 1st, 2012, I decided I wanted to be a writer. Step 3 is to create realistic goals for yourself. I'm a big fan of realistic goals, and when I say realistic, that's what I mean exactly, realistic. Don't come up with something like, I want to make $1 million before the end of the year, especially if you're coming from nothing. Instead, create goals for yourself to get you to where you want to be. I wanted to be a freelance writer, so my goals every day were to write a certain number of words, complete a certain number of projects in text broker, spend X amount of hours trying to find clients. But you want to set realistic goals for yourself that are things that you're able to accomplish. A couple years ago, my goal in text broker was to write 10,000 words a day. Now, I didn't really hit it maybe a handful of times. In fact, my average bounced between 6,000 and 7,000. But I didn't start off that way. Hell, I think my first initial goals for text broker was just 1,000 words a day. That meant finding at least 2 or 3 jobs. And then once you start achieving those goals, start setting higher ones. Keep the momentum going. That brings me to step 4, is to create a plan of action for all your goals that you're making. Like I said, 1,000 words a day, I made sure that I reached 1,000 words a day. Nowadays, I'm striving for, I think it's like 3,900 words-ish, because I'm trying to beat the 1 million words in 2021. So my plan of action is to make sure that I either do blog posts for myself, blogs for other clients, or maybe even getting on vocal media, working on my ebook, working on the novel. All these are different things that help me achieve my goals. Now, if you want to be a graphic designer or a game developer and you don't have the money to dump into exploring some of the software that's out there, you can start something like with Blender. Blender is a free application you can use to start practicing developing 3D animation. Create some 3D graphics for yourself. That way, when you do have the money to buy the software that you want to make games, you're already a step up because you have the graphic design part of it done. Create a plan of action that gets you going to where you want to be through all your goals that you're creating. I have spreadsheets that do all this for me, but you can do something like use a whiteboard. I have a whiteboard, I just haven't set it up yet. Mostly because all my markers are dried up and I have to get new ones. My point is, it doesn't take much effort to create a plan of action, especially if you do something like in a spreadsheet or on a notepad. I've got 4 notepads sitting next to me right now. Step 5 is learn all that you can. I didn't come out of the gate swinging as a freelance writer knowing everything there is about AP style. I had no clue what I was doing. But I made the focused effort to become a freelance writer, so I learned everything I possibly could. I spent hours upon hours going through Google and different websites on learning AP style English and how to write for SEO, because that's where I wanted to be. And there's tons of courses out there. You don't necessarily have to dedicate yourself to a college or university. You can find online courses for just about everything nowadays. I didn't pay for a single online course to learn how to write. Everything I did was researching through Google. And even then, some of the courses I came across were only like $10. And with a high rating on the system like with Udemy, you're pretty guaranteed to get some decent information out of it. Because there's a lot of experts out there who don't charge an arm and a leg to teach you what they know. Well, look at me, I put everything I learned in WriterSanctuary. It's a free website. My point is to always keep yourself pushing forward because you're not going to be an expert immediately. My daughter wants to be a violinist. She needs to practice violining. Playing? Anyway, my son wants to learn how to make video games. Start with graphic design. And there's a lot of software on Steam that's not all that expensive to get into. Just need to manage your money better. Step number 6 is to analyze your failings. Don't dwell on them. Look back and look at the stuff that didn't really succeed for you, and then break it down as to why it didn't succeed. Because if you learn why it didn't succeed, it's only going to help you succeed later on. Fix your problems and everything kind of falls into place after that. But don't dwell on the things that didn't happen even though you thought for sure they would, because that's not how life works. And the moment you start dwelling on the negative aspect, the moment that you pretty much kill your career. Like, still, one of my favorite stories is my friend who tried Text Broker, who got ultimately upset because they rated him a 3-star and he gave up writing altogether. When I got rated as a 3-star, I pushed forward to learn everything I possibly could to get 4-star. I learned everything I did about SEO to get to the place where I'm at now. Don't dwell on the negatives, learn from them, because it's only going to make you stronger in the long run. And step 7, always explore your future possibilities. For instance, as a freelance writer, I could have just been done writing on content mills and just been happy making a full-time income, but I wanted more. And now I make a lot more. Still not enough to pay everything I want to do, but it did buy this house. And other possible futures for a freelance writer could be into blogging or creating an ebook about what you learned. Set up your own business have a team of writers below you. And there's all kinds of different ways you can take any career. For example, there's a ton of people on YouTube who have turned their hobbies and passions into a full-time video career. In other words, don't settle. Because you never really know where life is going to take after a while. If you want to be a 3D animator, start using some free software to crank out a few small videos on YouTube. The point is that never settle in just one place. Diversify. I guess to wrap it all up is become the success that you want to be. Because it's not just going to drop in your lap. Find something that you absolutely want to do and then do what you can to become the expert. And for the most part, it's probably going to take a lot of time. But you'll do far better off in the long run. Because instant success really doesn't work out all that well for most people. And you might as well start today. Figure out what it is that you want out of life and then go for it. So what are some of your hopes and aspirations for the future? For me, I would love to see WriterSanctuary get built up a lot more than what it is. I would love to open up my own business. I got a lot of stuff. But for the here and now, I think I want to finish the ebook and finish 7 and get it published. And so I put in a lot of effort to make sure all those things happen. But it all starts by figuring out where you want to go. Well, after making sure you have income. I mean, even if you have to flip burgers for a while, at least you have money coming in to pay the bills. Hell, I've done it. So if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. For more videos about freelance writing, WordPress, text broker, soon self-publishing, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. I think it's going to do it for me today, and I'll see you tonight live stream.